Perhaps the most widely covered legal matter before the High Court, the murder trial of William Danny Mason and 4 men, equally accused of the heinous murder of Pastor Llewellyn Lucas, came to an end at midday. The Mason Five, as we will refer to the convicted parties collectively, is now awaiting sentencing after being found guilty of decapitating a Christian minister in July 2016. The verdict succeeded a lengthy session in which Justice Antoinette Moore painstakingly reviewed a number of points highlighted in a summary judgment. In court this morning were friends and family of the deceased clergyman. Noticeably absent were relatives of the suspects, including Melissa Ferguson, wife of William Danny Mason. The chamber was also heavily guarded, with conspicuous law enforcement presence in and around the building. When the matter commenced sometime after 10 a.m., Justice Moore informed the court that a full judgment, which is over 100 pages in length, will be released on a later date. In rationalizing her arrival at a decision, the judge raised critical points that were introduced during the trial, including a cause of death for Pastor Lou. Was his death the result of harm, or did he die from other means? In arguing on behalf of his client, Guyanese attorney Dexter Todd cited a case from his home country dating back to 1973, in which it was legally established that determining the cause of death is critical to prosecuting a homicide. That, according to Justice Moore, was peculiar, since it has also been proven in other jurisdictions that an exact cause of death may not be necessary to determine that a victim died of harm. In this case, the Director of Public Prosecutions successfully proved, sans the physical remains, that Lucas succumbed to injuries inflicted to his body. Justice Moore, in reflecting on the proof of guilt, turned to the trove of circumstantial evidence presented by the Crown. The compelling nature of the forensic, electronic, and DNA evidence gathered and used to demonstrate responsibility for Lucas's demise ultimately led to her decision. As an aside, the detailed and thorough work of all those involved in that process, including the scenes of crime technician who swabbed and collected the evidence, was formally acknowledged. Notwithstanding all attempts by the defense to poke holes in the prosecution's argument, they were unable to establish reasonable doubt. Even when taken separately, all 3 strands of evidence were enough to convince the judge that the Mason Five is responsible for Pastor Lou's beheading. In applying the common law doctrine of joint enterprise, Justice Moore found that William Mason, Ashton Vanegas, Ernest Castillo, and siblings Keiron and Terrence Fernandez acted in concert during the commission of the crime. For that, they have been condemned for the crime of murder. Sentencing has been deferred to a later date. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.